been doing this a long time, long enough to remember when Garrett was relevant. But this wasn't my city anymore. This wasn't Lorwyn anymore. Hasn't been Lorwyn for a long time. Shadowmoor City's got a smell to it, and kid, it ain't just the cheese. Victim was some clean-cut commander staple. Showed up in more deckless than a soul ring. Now he's down in the cellar, and I don't mean with the wine. They said it was a simple murder. Snapped that case closed before I even got a sniff, but my whiskers were still twitching. Kid, rats don't get this big on their own. You followed the crumbs long enough, and you start asking who laid the trap. And sat at the top of it all, turns out there was a bigger cheese around these parts. A real tough guy matters type. Doran. Doran, besieged by time, looked like a straight shooter. The kind of commander that wants wolves, very much in the family business of his predecessor, Doran the Siege Tower. The kind of card you think you got figured out the moment you read the headline. I mean, hey, each creature spell you cast with toughness greater than its power costs one less. But I've been doing this job too long to trust first impressions. See, when you actually read the fine print, there's a detail most folks miss while they're busy sleeving up their big butts. Doran doesn't care about toughness on its own. What he cares about is the difference. Whenever a creature you control attacks or blocks, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the difference between its power and toughness. And that's when the case finally broke wide open. They say curiosity killed the cat. Good thing, I'm a rat. Because once you start looking at discrepancy rather than raw toughness, you stop looking at walls, and you start looking for something smaller. And kid, let me tell you, there's nothing better at hiding a body behind numbers than rats. Let's start with the perp. Rat Colony. We've got 35 of them in lockup, and on its own, it's a deeply unimpressive card. A 2/1 for 2 mana that gets +1/+0 for every other rat. But when you start stacking them up, things get suspicious. With 10 rats, they're suddenly swinging as 12 ones. And when Doran sees that, he doesn't ask questions. With 12 power and a single point of toughness, that's an 11-point difference. Which means this rat isn't attacking as a 12/1 anymore. It's attacking as a 23/12. Pretty unbelievable. Of course, one rat doesn't run a city. And Doran might be the gear in charge, but he's got plenty of henchmice. Cards such as Marinora, Piper of the Swarm, and Caramonix the Rat King are the kind of associates you don't meet in polite company. Marinora is a real problem. He doubles the rats and gives them evasion, and nothing says urban nightmare quite like exponential rodents slipping through every crack. You clean one alley, 2 more infest the next block. Hear that tune playing down the street? That's Piper of the Swarm, handing out menace like it's happy hour. And when there's spare mana lying around, he whistles up even more trouble. Every city's got a soundtrack. This one just happens to squeak. And then there's Caramonix the Rat King. He digs for more rats the moment he hits the scene, and turns every scuffle into a full-blown whodunit. A little poison here, a little poison there. Suddenly the whole table's feeling sick, and nobody's asking where the bodies came from. Now you'd think thinning the herd would help. Turns out that's where the fat cats really messed up. Cards such as Ashcoat of the Shadow Swarm and Ogre Slumlord make sure that when the rats go down, they don't stay down. They crawl back, get replaced, or leave behind something worse. The suits even tried board wipes. That's cute. Cards such as Raise the Past, Bloodbond March, and Remembrance ensure that while these felines at the top might have 9 lives, these rodents have got 10. Raise the Past brings the whole gang back in one sweep, like nothing ever happened. Bloodbond March means that every rat you cast calls in favours. One squeak on the phone, and suddenly the whole block shows up. And Remembrance? Every rat that dies leaves behind a calling card. Proof that they were here. Proof that they'll be back. And once the board is flooded, tags such as Heraldic Banner, Vanquisher's Banner, and Herald's Horn start cropping up, pushing things completely over the edge. These rats even make cards work that Commander usually laughs out of the room. Thrumming Stone, Locket of Yesterdays, and Double Enchant all expect you to break the one-of rule. But kid, when you run in Rat Colony, the rulebook's already been chewed through. Now before we close the file, let's talk about the streets this operation runs on, the mana base. Truth is, Doran wasn't running anything fancy here. No hidden tunnels, no secret speakeasies. We're running a pretty standard 3-colour land package to keep things running smoothly. You want your colours on time, every time. That said, there's one address worth remembering. Swarmyard. It taps for colourless, sure, but more importantly, it regenerates rats. And in a city where everything's trying to stomp your board flat, Doran knew that having a safe house that keeps your rodents crawling back out of the rubble is invaluable. So that's the case. Doran besieged by time, a city run from the shadows, a crime boss you never saw coming, and a swarm of rodents turning toughness math into a full-blown protection racket. If you came here expecting a fair toughness deck, sorry kid, it ain't that kind of town. This is a numbers game, and the rats are always better at counting. If you enjoyed this brew, do me a favour. Hit like and drop a comment with your favourite rat. And if you want more decks that look innocent on paper but leave the table in ruins, why not hit subscribe? Until next time, keep your cheese close. And remember, in Shadowmoor City, while it's the early bird that gets the worm, it's the second rat that gets the cheese.